Andy, you were one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. You had a huge heart. No matter what the situation was, you could always have a way of making anybody laugh. You didn't deserve any of this, but I know you're at peace now. All your friends loved you so much. You were just everybody's best friend, you know? And we all love you and we miss you very much. You were one of the nicest people that anyone could ever meet. We love you and miss you, Andy.
With a nerd named Alex. That's alright, he's my friend.
Alright, Gib, I know you can hear me out there somewhere, man, because I know you believed in God, man, and I know God believed in you. So, despite all your vices and everything, you are one of the kindest, hardest people I've ever met in my life. And honestly, you're probably the best friend anybody could have. You always had my back. You always had everybody else's back. And, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say, but you really were, like, one of the best friends anybody could ever have. I mean, I remember when I moved into Wolcott, middle of high school, I didn't know anybody. And then suddenly I met some fucking guy on the bus, and we just became friends after that. And dude, you were the glue that held the crew together. You brought us all together as the crew. You know, you not only supplied the friendship, you supplied the place to hang out. You were the cream in the Oreo, my friend. You were. And, you know, in the past 6 months to a year, we've all been drifting apart. And somehow, even in your passing, you brought us back together again. And, Gib, you've always been there for us. And, you know, we were always there for you, and we'll never forget you, man. And to Mr. and Mrs. Gibson, I can't express to you how sorry I am for your loss, but you should know that your son was one of the best men that I've ever met in my entire life. And I am truly, truly sorry that this had to happen. He was taken from us too soon, but he lived a good life, and he was a happy person, and I loved him. And that's all I got to say about Gib. Goodbye, Gib.
One of the first people I met in Wolcott was Andy in 3rd grade. And he was a really cool kid. Funny, sarcastic. Like, if you said something, he always had something to say. Like, there was no arguing with him because he would win any argument that you were trying to argue. And when we were in school, like, you know, he's always a chubby kid, but he was really good at trench. When we were playing trench, he had the ball and I was on the other team, and when he threw it, he hit me right in the face. So I'll never forget that because shit hurt. One of my favorite memories of him was his 3rd grade birthday party. It might be the 4th grade one, but it might have been 4th grade. Probably was 4th. But either way, it was, I can't remember who was there, but I know that I was there and a couple other folks. And we were just outside on his back porch. I remember his house just a little bit. I remember, like, when you walked through the door, the kitchen was, like, on the left. But they had a big 2-liter bottle of soda that was empty. And we wouldn't, of course, his mother wouldn't let us play spin the bottle. So we played, like, truth or dare, and we had, we all had a piece of paper and a pen, and we wrote down, like, dares and truths and stuff, and we stuck them in the bottle. So we all sat around the bottle on his back porch and spun it, and whoever the bottle, like, landed on, you had to, like, open up, read what it said, and then answer the question or do whatever it said. I can't for the life of me like even remember remotely like what was on it. It's just I've always remembered that birthday party because I had a really good time and it was really fun. And he's just like, he was all around like just a cool ass kid, you know, just real chill. Never like really like super excited about anything, just kind of chill. That's like one word that I could describe him. He's just funny as shit. Like there's never a dull moment. It was like dry humor.
It's not Tyson chicken technically, but I called it Tyson chicken because people knew I raped that girl. So that would be bad publicity for my chicken. So I called it Tyson chicken so people would put two and two together and then look at me. You know what I'm saying, man? Because when Mike Tyson chicken, no, that ain't gonna sell me. You gotta put Tyson chicken.
If you were around Andy, you were laughing. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, whether he was upset or not, he would make a joke or just be funny and talk shit about the teachers when we were in school. So those are just some good memories, and no matter what, everyone's gonna remember him, and it's just a shame that stuff had to go down the way it went down. Basically, I really want to just kind of say to all his friends, to everybody really, really close to him, because for me, he was always a good friend of mine, and he will always be a good friend of mine, no matter whether I saw him, you know, 2 years would go by if I ever saw him again, you know, like, we'd still be cool. I'd give him a big hug and, you know, how are you, shoot the shit. Last time I saw him was last year at the Woken Fair. I parked in the yard. He came outside. He was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. And I was like, Andy, what's up with that freaking Hawaiian shirt? And he's like, oh, this? You know, like just real like nonchalant, like, you know. So I gave him a big hug, asked him like, how are you? What's going on? You know, because I had left Connecticut after high school, so I hadn't been around, and I really hadn't talk to Andy much. I guess now, like, a lot of us, you know, probably a lot of people that haven't been on the documentary, haven't said anything, you know, to everybody out there that knew Andy that maybe didn't speak up or wasn't that close. You know, you're probably in my boat saying, well, I wish I was there, or I wish I did talk to him more. We could fill it up with a lot of I wish I did and what ifs, but it is what it is. So I just want to give my condolences to all his friends that he loved, and I love you, Andy.
One of my best memories of Gib is the time where him and Jim Croft and me were playing poker together. We used to play for a whole summer in his backyard. And one day he was watching, reading books, learning how to play poker, how the professionals play it, and he learned, you know, you only play ace king, you only play like the high hands. And that's a concept that's good for 9 people at a table, but he was playing just me and him, or just me and Jim Croft. And so he was only playing the big hands, and he told us he was only going to play the big hands. And he folded every hand that he had, except once in a blue moon he'd go, I'd raise, and we'd all fold. And he did that till every single one of his chips was gone. Every time he bet, we knew he had a good hand, and it was fucking one of the funniest things I've seen Gibby do. I mean, kind of had to be there, but it's a great Gib memory. Yeah, that's pretty much my Gib memory. Obviously, he's the nicest guy anyone's ever met, and everyone, you know, after everyone dies, everyone always says, you know, this was the nicest guy you ever knew. But Gib really was just a sweetheart. So, you know, Gibby.